All right, thank you. So yesterday we were discussing about web scraping, which is a means of data collection, and we were looking at web scraping a particular page yesterday, a particular website yesterday. That was where we stopped. So I'm going to copy this link again so we can see the web page. All right, so this is the web page in which we are interested in. So what we want to achieve is to get out these tables: product, ISBN code, REQD, and the price out of this page. And as well, we want to take the school and the year. Can you see Emmanuel Anglican College, year 5? So that is where we stopped yesterday. And yesterday we started with, I also introduced to you the structure of an HTML code, where I mentioned, where I relate it to a family tree. I told you that um, looking at the whole of HTML is can definitely be looked in form of a family tree, whereby in this case now where we have our HTML, the head and the body tag are like, they are like child, or let me call them children, to this particular HTML body. And all these values like here, like H2, P, which are paragraphs, they are like descendants of this HTML. So title, um, head is the parent of title. Header, sorry, yes, head is the parent of title. Header, navigation, main, aside, footer, they are all children to the body tag. So now we are relating it to the website in which we were discussing yesterday, and we visited the website. I told you that if you want to connect, make use of an API protocol, if you want to make use of an API, we have four different methods. So we have the get, we have the post, we have the put, and also we have, I told you that the get is to get a particular, and we have the delete. The get is to get a particular information from the web page, and we want to post, which means we want to send something there. Then when we want to put, we want to perform a kind of an edition, we want to edit. And when you have the delete, it means you want to delete something from the web page. Now in this case now, where we just need to make use of our get requests, so we can make use of the request library. So we have URL. Our URL has been, our URL as, we have defined our URL to be booklist.com.au, to L equals to 4010. I said it yesterday that our page in which we are interested in will be from 4010 to, let me say, 4030. Now for each of the numbers, we have 4011, 4012, 4013, applies to different school and their classes. Now can you see for 4010 we have Emmanuel Anglican College, year 5. So for 4030, can you still see my screen?
Yes.
All right. Let me see 4011 first. I don't know why this is taking time. So we have it from 4010 up to, we have, I think we have it up to 40, more than 4050 or so. But for the sake of this class, we'll just limit it so we won't waste much of our time. Now look at 4011 is for Evans River K-12 School, year 10. So let's start from 4010. Now if you want to web scrape multiple pages, if you notice that those pages have similar structures, since it is on the same website, it is most likely that the pages we have similar structures in which they are being built. So what you just need to do is to look at one, web scrape the first one, make sure you interact with the website for the first one. So when you are done, you can now kind of develop use a loop to interact with other pages as well. So, and that is what we are doing right now. And that's what we are doing right now. Okay, so let's connect this again. So I import request my URL and just create. Yeah, we are going to send the URL to you. So we have 1201. So we are going to import requests from BS4, import BeautifulSoup because we'll be making use of the same BeautifulSoup library. Then let's import pandas as well as PD. So we import numpy too. So let's leave this like this. So we'll use pandas. Pandas is a library in which we use for data manipulation. It's one of the most widely used library for data manipulation. And numpy is used for numerical computation. Yes, you can scrape website that doesn't have a table, irrespective of the structure. All right, so let me define my URL equals, I think I copied the URL. So this is it. So soup, okay, our request first equals to request dot get URL. So we are going to check the status of our connection if it is successful. So we have a status code of 200. So which means that it is successfully connected. All right, so we are going to make use of our soup. So we have soup equals to BeautifulSoup. You can't web scrape a website offline. You have to connect to the website. You have to make sure that you have a data connection. We have content. So I told you that we have 4 different parsers yesterday. We have the XML, we have the LXML, we have HTML5 and we have HTML.parser. But it's better you just use LXML. So I think I've been using it all the while. So we have this. Good. So we have soup.title to get the title of the page. Can you see? Dolphin office choice, back to school supplies. So we can say soup.h1 to get the header one of the website. So soup.h2. So if the website has an h2 header, we are going to get it as well. So soup.p to get the first paragraph. And since it is not returning anything, it means that the website does not have any paragraph in it. Alright, so we are going to inspect this website now so that we can web scrape the necessary information. You right click, you go to the web page, right click and click on inspect. So when you click on inspect, it's going to load the HTML of the website. So the first thing we need to do is to get this because we are going to include it in our table. You know, when you are dealing with, when you want to make something into a table, you must do it in such a way that you should be able to distinguish that, oh, this page is for Emmanuel Anglican College Year 5, so that if you mix it up, at the end of the day, you may end up not achieving what you wish to achieve. So you click here, and we have it here. You click Emmanuel Anglican College. So can you see? You look at the div, or let me say the container in which the attribute we are looking for, it is where it is being contained. Now if you look at it here, this div, once I click on div, it highlights the whole page. Let me see. Look at it. It highlights the whole of the whole page. So let me just click on it so that we can. If I click on this, it highlights everything. So if you look at this, if you look at it from, say div hash blist as it is being shown here, and from here we have div equals to blist. So I can take it from here, or rather take it from here, anyone. So I'm going to take it from here so that I can filter out the part I want, since the table and everything I need on the page is being contained in this particular div. So I will just say page equals to soup dot find. Now you can download this page if you know that you don't want to keep working online, you just want to download. I can download this page into my PC. Then after downloading it, I can now view the offline version and start working, looking at it and work with it. Yes, it is very much possible. If I want to download this, let me just download it for you. If you want to download, just like we were taught yesterday, you can say with open, let me call it booklists.html. So we save it as HTML and we are writing it, which is the mode, as f, then say f dot write soup dot prettify. So prettify will make it in form of a text, so we can download it. Now it has been downloaded into our directory. Let me look at it. This is it. No, this is not it. Soup.html. So this is it here. Can you see booklist.html? So if I should go into my browser and I open this booklist.html, it will open the offline version of the website for me. Yes, just as simple as that. Let me try it first. Now look at it. This is the offline version of the website. Can you see that it's from my PC, c/users. Now, it is not always good to download offline version because there are some websites that they are dynamic. So their attributes may be changing with time. So this is still loading. I don't know why it's taking time. So you can always work with the online version, which is more easier. Can you see this is the offline version? So some CSS code, some JavaScript, this thing has been disabled. So this is just the pure HTML. So let's just do this. Let's continue with this. All right, we are starting with this first one, which is Emmanuel Anglican College. And from here, we need to streamline, or let me say filter the body of our page first. So I will say soup.find div. Let's look at it again. So it is called div and the name of the ID equals to blist. So you say soup.find div ID equals to blist. So this is the whole page you want. So now inside this div is everything that is on this page. Everything that is on this page is inside this blist. So inside this page, you can now call this title. So if I now say page.find, or if I just say page.title, okay, it's not even, let me use .find, page.find div, then we have id equals to title, id equals title. So this is the title. You can see Emmanuel Anglican College year 5. So what I'll just do is to say dot string dot split, or you make use of dot get text, just like I said yesterday. So dot get text. So we have this. So we can strip it to all this new line at the front will go away. So we have Emmanuel College, year 5. So let's call this the school name. Let's just say school name equals to. So we need to work for one page first before we write a function that will work for all the whole pages we wish to collect. So this is for the school name. So let's move on to the next one. We want to get this. Okay, we want to get, we can define this column head ourselves, doesn't mean. So, but we want to get the products, things under the product here. So you come here, put your mouse there, then you put your mouse here. Now you can see that we have, it is, look at, we have span, this is it. Stidler, Max, Z-liner, pencil colored. So the name is, we have, everything is under div. Then we have row 1, class equals to prod line aeon. So you can collect it from here, or rather we can just collect it from here. So let's try, let's see which of them will work out. So here we have span, id equals to nx1, and the class equals to c10. So let me just copy this, edit as HTML. So I'm going to paste it here. So let's soup. No, we are now using page now because we have streamlined it. Page.find span. Then we have class. Now, if you want to write class in this case now, you don't use, normally I'm supposed to use something like this class, because class is a keyword in Python. So you won't use this class. You make use, so after you writing class, you put in an underscore. So if you should write this, can you see? This is product. This is giving us product. So which means that even the first span that has this class sitting in this page is this product. Can you see? So if we use, instead of using find, we can now use find all. Can you see? So if we use find all, we've one way or the other collected all the whole item on the page. So it's just that the first one is for products, which is the head. Then we have this, the next one, the first row, the second row, the third row, and so on and so forth. So let's call everything like this. Let's call it product, because those are the product name. So we'll call it product. So we know that once we want to work with this product, we can filter out, we can start calling the product from row 1, from index 1, from index 1, so that we can filter out that product. Yes, so this is it. So now we are done with the products. Now let's move on to the next one, which is this place, the ISBN code. So you come here, you click, you come here, you click. Now the name also is span, and the class is C sub J. So we are going to find page.find span class equals to C sub J. Now, can you see the first one is ISBN slash code? So since you can just use find all. Find all, we find all the old this thing with these attributes. So can you see 522.626.16, this is it. 522.616.2397, and so on and so forth. So let's call this ISBN. ISBN. So I'm going to print it out as well. So this is ISBN. So we can move on. Now the next one is REQ to required. I think this required is the minimum that is required for them to get. I don't know, but I suppose that it is the because here we're having school, pencil, HB, CB, CBT or something, and we have 12. So let's look for the, so you click here, then you come to this place. Now the name of this is span class equals to CREQ, which means C required. So I'll say page dot find span, then class equals to C. Am I correct? Okay, good. So we can now use find all to find all the classes. Okay, so we have done that. Now I want you to notice something here. Look at this product. Okay, let's finish up this first. Now, since the first one is for REQD, let's name it REQD as name. Then we'll start calling it from the first. We are going to skip row 0 because we don't really need it. What we need is all these values. So we have it here. Now, the next one is price. To get price as well, click here, then we come here. Now, if you look at for price, the name is span, and this is for quantity, but we don't really need quantity, so let's leave quantity alone. So the name is span. We have span, and we have name equals to px1. So page dot find span. Are we there? Argument name. What's wrong? Let's find for this. This one is C unit. Let's see. I think this is the correct one. Span class equals to C units. Let's find all. Oh, good. So these are the. So you can call this price equals to. So my price, we are skipping the first row. You know that this is now in form of a list now. That's why all those things that you've learned, you need to master them. Can you see that we are making use of a list to index out what we don't need? Okay, so this is it. So we have price. I think that's all. We've collected everything we need. The name here, the product, the ISBN code, the REQD, the price. Yes. So we've collected them successfully. Now we now need to inspect it. Now let's look at it. Look at for this product here. Can you see my screen? Hello, can you guys hear me?
Hello. Yes, I can see your screen.
All right, thank you. So for this product here, we have this is a valid product, but look at the last two rows. This is late fee, this is delivery. So which means one way or the other, we need to exclude these two, this late fee and delivery for products. Yes, we need to exclude them. We need to exclude them. So how do we exclude them? We can make use of our list method. And I assume that this happening here should also be applicable to all, what's it called? All the O pages. So if I have this, so we have spiral page coming. Okay. So it should be -2. Now, can you see that I'm making use of negative index? Now, the reason is because I don't know the length of this for all the whole pages. It's most likely that maybe because Emmanuel Anglican College can have like 20 rows, and when you go to the next school, the requirement may be more than 20 rows. So if I should just say that I want to filter out the first 20 rows, you know I'll be having problem. But there's one thing that I think I know for sure, and the thing is that for the last two lists here should be late fee and delivery. So irrespective of the length of the list, I want to filter out the last two. So, and you know, you were taught that in Python, for Python list, we have generally in Python we have positive indexing and negative indexing. So you can index from the front and you can index from the back. Yes. Now I said you should start my indexing from 1 and end it at -2. You know the last item will be -1, and the item before the last item will be -2, like that. So but when I say -2, it will automatically will not stop at -2, it will stop at -3. Did you get? So that is why we have this up to this extent. So if we look at ISBN as well, so ISBN, we need to filter out the ISBN code. So which means we want to start our indexing from 1 and we end at the index. So this is also having extra two indices that are not really, we don't really need. So we have it here. So this is it. We have it here. So I think some of the, what's it called? The ISBN is having something like SUN earbud. Let's confirm if it is valid. Oh, this is it here. SUN earbud, good. So which means we are not wrong. Now for the C required, it also have extra two spaces. So we are going to start from there and end at -2 as well. So we have 24. So for price does not have extra two spaces. So let's look at it from the table. Price. Now price has, but the extra two spaces for price is the total score for late fee and the delivery, but we don't need it. So what we need to do is, we may think these two is valid, but they are for late fee and delivery. So we just need to filter it out as well. So we have -2. So we have -1 to 2. So I think that's all. So if we want to web scrape for a page, I think we have successfully done that. If I'm doing this alone, it will be more faster than this. Now, how do we now write a function? We can write a function that will perform the whole thing as in total. So let's call it book list. So the name of our function will book list. So our function will take in start page, and end page. So which means that, for example, if you wish to start from 1, it will start from 1 if 1 is valid. So if it is not valid, it will start from, it will return an error actually. So we can now say URL equals to, let me copy the URL again. So I will leave the URL like this. I'll leave the URL like this because we are trying to create a dynamic connection. So we are going to say for I in range start page, comma, end page plus 1. You know, if for example you want your page to stop to stop at 4030. You know, if I should use this for loop and I use the range function, if you stop at 4029, so we need to put that into consideration as well. So for I in range, start page, comma, end page. So we have REQ. So we need to redefine our URL. So our URL2 equals to URL plus, or we can do it like this. We can make use of F string. So this will be URL plus string. We are to confirm, we are to convert this I. You know, this I now we start from 4010. So it will be an integer. And if we should add a string, this is a string. If we should add this string and numbers together, we are going to get a type error because we can't perform addition between numbers and integers. So we need to convert the integer into a string. So we are going to use string I. So that will be string I. So print URL. So if you want to write this, you can always write it bit by bit and test if your code is correct. So at the end of the day, it won't be as if after writing the whole code, you will start getting error. So you can try take it bit by bit. Now, I have defined it. So let me call the function book list 4010, comma. So that will be my start page. And let me say my end page is 402. So can you see that we're having something like plus? This is plus. Oh. And in the web page, do we have plus? No, we don't have plus. It is equal sign that is there. And this is showing plus. So where is the plus coming from? The plus is coming from here. It should not be a plus. Yes, good. So which means our web page are correct. If I should click here, to be for 4010. This is 4011, like that. So we can now proceed. So we are sure that our URL is correct. So we'll now say REQ equals to request dot get. So we'll be getting URL2 because this is our new URL. And so you can now make use of if statements. You can say if REQ dot status code equals to 200, print page I successfully connected. Else print error connecting with page I. Now if you run this, let's see. Can you see page 401 successfully connected, 1011, 1012, 1013, 1014, 1015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Good. So which means all the whole pages will be successful. So we can now proceed. So this is just for you to monitor where your code will return an error. Because if you don't monitor it, you may be facing errors in some parts of the code. So if this has run successfully, so even after this, you can write break. So which means that if a particular page does not connect, just stop my code. Don't proceed with the code. That is the meaning of I've explained what these statements mean. So just exceed the code. Do not proceed with it. A minute, please. All right. So if you should click on break, it will end the code. Now let me make use of something. Let's say what should I do? Okay, let me use 40100. I assume that the pages should not be up to this. So let's see. Wow, this website has a very wow. This is really nice. So if the page does not exist, then it will definitely return an error. Or if the page is returning maybe another status code, maybe 404 error or something like that, it will. So let's just delete. Now let's continue. Now the next thing we need to do now is all these things that we've done, we need to implement it here. So this is what we are going to do. Soup equals to beautiful soup, beautiful soup, req dot content and xml. So now you notice that we filter out our page. So we have this page equals to. So I'll just copy this and paste it here. I'm very this when it comes to writing code. So we have this. So we have filtered out our page. Now the next thing to do is to come here again. We have done the main work, which means we have inspected everything. So we come here. This is the school name. So let's copy it. But we want to do it like this. Okay, school name only has one distance. So this should be a now sometimes we were taught about error handling yesterday. Sometimes some page may return error in some of these things. So it is always what's it called, advisable to make use of your try and accept. So you say try this, then accept. Now you don't know the error it may return. We have so many errors in Python and you cannot know all the whole errors. But irrespective of the error, if you want to catch any type of error it returns, so you just say accept exception as print e. So it will catch the error and then it will print out the exception for you. Alright, so let's proceed. So we have done for school name. Now the next one is products. So you copy it again, come here. So you use this. Now let's name it products so that we won't be confused because we have more than one product. So here we now say products equals to products again. Then after doing this, we will now make use of loop to loop through. You know this product will return list of values for different products. So we'll now loop them one after the other. So let's call it J. You know we have used I here. We used I already in this loop. So don't make the mistake of using I for this loop. So you can call it prod for prod in product, so that you will not be making mistake. For prod in product. So let's, I think, what should you do? How should you do this? Coming. Okay, let's create a list here. So the list will be called, this is, let's call it product. Let's just call it. So this will be an empty list. Then we have product for REQD2. So this will be an empty list. We have another list for price to be an empty list as well. Then we have another for, which other one? ISBN. So ISBN to also be an empty list. Which other one? I think that's all. Alright. You see, for that school name, let's just leave that alone. So for I in product, so we'll be appending them to this place here, which is product. So we have product dot append prod. Right. Now normally also it is advisable for us to make use of try and accept here too. So because sometimes some pages can be so stubborn, and in a case whereby you define a very wide range of um, pages, it may be maybe the last two pages, that is where the error will occur, and you will start getting error, and you will not be able to debug the page, number one, and number two, you may not be able to know where the error is coming from. So you have to rerun the code again. So it's always preferable you make use of try and accept here. But I won't use it just to save our time. So let's proceed. So we are done with products. So the next thing is ISBNs. So copy it again. Paste it here again. So just like product, we name it as a pronoun. So let's use this as ISBNs. So that then we'll loop as well for, just as we did here, ISB in ISBNS. Okay. So we have defined it here as ISBN. ISBN dot append ISB. Now I don't want to make it too complicated for us. There's something we call list comprehension. If I'm to write this code for myself, I may not define empty list here. I would probably make use of a list comprehension. So a list comprehension is like writing a loop inside a list. Are you with me? Writing a loop inside a list. Now, for example, let's say we want to make use of REQD is the next one. So we copy it and we have it here. REQD. So if I want to make use of list comprehension, so this is REQD. I'll just say REQD equals to REQD dot. I can just REQ for REQ in REQQS. So this is just like this tells how to define a list comprehension. So let me show you guys. For example, let me copy this so that you can see it. I have this, and I say REQD equals to this, then I say REQD equals to REQ for REQ in REQD. Can you see? So it's list comp. Now I did not define a list earlier, so that's what we call list comprehension. And even I forgot, I did not use dot get text to get the text. So I think that's good. So this should be dot get text. For I, this is also should be dot get text. So you can make use of list comprehension. But for now, let's just use something that will be easier for you. So now say for REQ in REQDS, REQD dot append REQ dot get text. Good. So the last one, which is price. So let's copy for price as well. So just we've been doing earlier, name it prices. Prices equals to okay. So we say for price and prices for let me speed prices price which we want to append it to this price that we define up here. So price dot append p dot get text. All right. So I think we are done there. So we have done products, product dot append. We need to confirm it. We have done ISBN. We have done REQD. And we have done price too. Good. Now the next thing we need to do now is, we've defined this here. We now define a data frame for them. So let's name it df2 equals to pd. If you want to define an empty data frame, make use of pandas. You use pd dot data frame. Pd dot data frame. I'm looking at the way we can achieve this. But let me try it here first. Yes. I'm suspecting that we may likely be getting an error. For I in including okay, can use this. Okay, so we have this. If I use pd dot data frame, okay, good. So this is what I want. Exactly, this is what I want. So you can now come in. This is really not a good approach. I'm trying to see. Anyways, let's just do it. I don't want it to be too long before, but we just have to do. Now, this is for product. So, since we are done with product here, we can now say product equals to pd dot data frame product. So, which means that all this product now, we are now converting it into a data frame here, since we are done with product here. So, pd dot data frame product. So, we need to product dot remove. Now, let me just say product dot column equals to product. So if we have this, let me show you how it will work. Let me use it for this one. So if I say reqd equals to this, and I'll say reqd dot columns equals to reqd. So if I should, let me print it. Can you see the column name is reqd? So we are going to have something like this. So exactly that is what I did here. So we are going to do the same for everything. So when we are done with ISBN loops as well, we come out of, okay, this is not the, this is ISBN. So we now say ISBN equals to PD. You should have just used a dictionary instead. That's the best method. But since I use a list already, you just need to continue doing that. So this is ISBN. Then we say ISBN dot columns equals to ISBN. So we do the same thing for REQD. So REQD equals to PD dot data frame REQD. So REQD dot columns equals to REQD. Okay, then for price as well, after the price loop, we come out of the loop, price equals to PD dot data frame price, then price dot columns equals to price. Good. So our DF2, look at it now. We have we have products. Product is now in the data frame, which is the first one. Let's leave the school name. Let's leave the school name for now. So we have product, which is now the first one. We have ISBN, we have REQD, and we have price. Okay, we have price. So what we now need to do is to perform concatenation. So we need to join everything together into one DF so that they can be together. So I will say PD dot data frame. Sorry, PD dot concat. So what are we concatenating? Products, comma, ISBN, comma. If I say PD, it means that I'm making use of pandas library. I told you that pandas is used for manipulation. So and I already import pandas as PD at the beginning of this class. So that's why I'm making use of. When you hear PD dot, it means I'm using one of the method that is available for pandas. So I have ISBN, I have REQD, and I have price. Good. So this is my DF2. Now, there is one thing that is missing in this column, which is the product name itself. That is one thing that is missing. So what I'm going to do is product name equals to, for it to be very fast, I'll just use the numpy library. Numpy has a function which we call repeat. So np dot repeat. Now what do you want to repeat? Repeat the school name for me. So we have what's the name? What is the school name? This is the school name. So repeat this school name that we have here. We are still inside one loop. So which means we are still working for just one page. So we are writing a code for just one page, but we are writing it in a dynamic way, that in such a way that it can be replicated into multiple pages. Can you see? So this is where the school name will get. So I'm going to say the repeat school name df2 dot shape 0. So which means I'm telling it to repeat the school name in number of times that in the number of rows of my for my df2. So which means if my df2 has 52 rows, so you should repeat the name, school name, whatever we have for school name, 52 times. That's why I make use of df2 dot shape 0. Can you see? Now we are done with the first what's it called, with the first page. Now before we write the loop, we should have the master data frame where we can join the whole, what's it called, data frames together for all pages. So I will name it df. That one is df2. Now this is df. So this is pd.data frame. So this is an empty data frame. So I will now say df equals to, then I will now concat, I will join df1 and df2 together. So I'll say pd.concat df2. I made a mistake here. I just remembered now. Now here I want to join by column. So I should set axis equals to 1. When you are joining by column, which means I want to join the columns one after. So you name axis equals to 1 so that pandas can understand that how do you want to join. But if it is by row, axis equals to 0. But by default, axis is always equals to 0. So pd.concat df1 df2. Let me just state it. Axis equals to 0. Ignore index equals to true. All right, so we have this. Print. So I want to know if it successfully web scrape for each pages. So print page I successfully web scraped. Updated data frame. Now as df.shape. This dot shape 0, you get the number of rows. So now have these rows and df.shape. So this we return, but we don't even need this. So number of rows. All these things are just for debugging, so you can always trace where you have an error or something. I hope there is no mistake here. So when we are done, finally, we now want to return the final df. So this will be here. Can you see? This is, we now come out of the loop. I will now say return df. So I think we have successfully, right? If this is a very, it's too cumbersome, something that can be shrinked, and before you know, in 7 to 10 lines, everything will be done. But I just need to do it this way so that you guys can understand better. All right. I hope there is no mistake. Let's try it. So successfully run the function. Now let's say from 410 to 415 first. So we are going to assign it to data. So these are our data. Now let's see. So the page 4010 connected successfully. So which means attempting to web scrape, it web scraped it. It has 24 rows. Okay. 4011 connected successfully, and it has 52 rows. 24 rows, which means more rows has been added, making it 52. So this now has 98 rows. So we are in 4013 now. So this now have 124 rows. Okay. Now we have 152 rows. It means that our data is really working. So 4015. Oh, shouldn't have included anyway. So we have 164 rows total. So let's print data. Now look at it. Product, ISBN, REQD, price, and product name. So technically we have web scraped how many pages like that? We have web scraped 5 pages like that. So this is done for this. Look at the first one is Anglican, Emmanuel Anglican year 5. Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we are with you.
All right, thank you. So we have successfully web scraped. If you look at the 4015, the name is Casino High School Year 5. So let's see 4015. Can you see? Casino High, this is even year 8. Is it year 8? Oh, sorry, it is year 8. So which means you've successfully web scraped the pages, and if you have other requirement that you need to do, you can do that. For example, now, after the school name, you will notice that what follows is the name of the class, or let me say the level. So this is 5 5. You can decide to split to have extra column for it. It's very easy. So that is data collection for you. So we have successfully collected the data. Now I want us to also note that this page is a very easy to web scrape, as it is kind of static in nature, but sometimes you may have to deal with dynamic pages that requires a lot of expertise, but it is beyond this bootcamp. So, but in our training sessions, we are going to go deeper and dive deeper, and also be able to attempt to web scrape more complicated and complex websites, especially those ones that are dynamic in nature. For examples, we have we have a website, let me say a booking website. There's a website we call booking.com, which you use to book serve, let's say for example, you need to lodge or something like that. So you can always check for where you need to lodge or the available, can you see something like this, where you can choose your start date and your end date. So all these websites like this are dynamic because if a person book a particular room for a particular hotel, it will automatically change. So it changes with time. All right. So another use case is look at this airway now. This is a website, we call it airlinequality.com. We have different airways website. What's it called? Companies. So one of the most popular airways that we all know is British Airways. Now let's say for example, as a data scientist, you, your company, you work with an airway company, and you guys want to analyze with your competitors. You want to do something and you want to know how you can satisfy your customer. Now this is for British Airways. This is their overall review. We have food and beverages. Can you see this is the rating is 3/5. In-flight entertainment 3/5. This is the general customer review. But these are individual reviews. Look at this person. BA refused to reimburse me. This is the person name. This is the country. This is the date. They confirm that yes, the person truly um, used the trip, and this is the person comment, and this is the person review about. So you can perform web script for this. You have more comment. Look at totally they have in total they have about 3,908 reviews. This is just for one airway or for what do they call it? Airline. So you can check for multiple ones, web script them, you compare with yours, you look at what customers are complaining about, and with that you can draw insights and make recommendations to your company that oh, if you work on this, it is most likely that people come to us and they will patronize us. So that's all about data collection. And that is where we are going to stop in this bootcamp for data collection. So I would entertain questions before we move on to the next stage. Any question? Please, if you have any question, kindly unmute yourself and ask your question. All right, in the absence of no, I think I can proceed to the next step. Now, you were taught yesterday that data analysis process is by stages. Start with data collection. After data collection, you move on to data cleaning. When you move on to after data cleaning, you move on to data exploration, which is the exploratory data analysis. Then after that, move on to your model development or data analysis. Then after that, we move on to the interpretation. So we are done for the data collection processes. Now we need to move on to data cleaning. So for this data cleaning, we'll try our best to cover what as much as we can cover, but we need to know that data cleaning is one of the ways to know a competent data scientist is its ability to clean data. And most of the time, wrong what's it called? Wrong inference starts from data cleaning. Once you clean your data the wrong way, I'm telling you, you will get the wrong result. So you should be careful when performing data cleaning. So for this data cleaning, we'll be working on. Let me look. Let me see if the data set is there. Okay. So we'll be working on vehicle data. The vehicle data pd.read csv. So this is vehicle data for 2008, and we have another one for 2018, I guess. So we have TF 2008. Now, when you import your data set, this is the first step, importing your data set. Now, because my data set is in CSV, so you can just use pd.read CSV, and you should know that I have imported pandas as pd earlier on, so you can import the data. Now, this is the model of the car for the first car. This is the displacement, this is the CYL, the trans, the drive, the flow. These are the properties of a car actually. So the sales area, the STND, Underwood. Now, one thing I also want to explain is that if you want to analyze any data set, having domain knowledge is very important. Because if you don't have domain knowledge of the data set, I'm sorry, you may not be able to clean the data set well, number one. And number two, you may not be able to perform. There's something we call feature engineering, which means creating a new features out of the existing features. So you may not be able to do that perfectly as well. So, but here we will just focus, for today we'll focus on the data cleaning. Now let's make print DF 2018 as well. All right, so I'll be working on the 2008 data sets. So our assessment for this week is that we are to work on the 2018 dataset. So whatever I do for 2008, we have to replicate it for the 2018 dataset. So that is it. So now, when you import your data, you see, even though they are not defined steps in which you take in your data analysis process, because data analysis process is like an iterative process. You may have, after doing your model, you may notice something, then you now go back to data cleaning again. So it's not a rigid structure like that. But if you want to start for the first processes, you start from data cleaning, data exploration, analysis, model development, and the likes. Now, you look at the shape of your data. If you want to look at the shape, sorry, DF28, so this means that my data set has 2,404 rows and 18 columns. That's what you use. That is called dot shape. Now, the next thing that is most likely that you will do is you can make use of dot info. Now, look at it here. Dot info will bring out the info. I want to use 28. Now, for this column model, non, number of non-null rows, which means number of non-empty rows is 2,404, and the data type is object. Now, while you were doing introduction to Python, you were taught that you have list, string, you have floats, integers. When you get to data frames, you may be likely be introduced to more data types. So one of it is when you see objects. Sometimes you will see DT, which is date and time. Sometimes your data type can be in date format. That is what it is. So we have this. So model displacement CYL. So this is number of non-null values, and this is the number of data type. Now you may likely not get this quickly, so I will just take it one after the other. So you start with df28.dtypes. So dtypes will return the data types for you. So you must also know what is the correct data type for each of the rows and check if they are in their correct format. Now let's see model, because most of the time you will not see You will not see string. Even if it's a string, you'll be seeing it as an object. Can you see? Now my model column here, you can say Akura MDX. So which means being an object here, it means it is correct. Which means it has the correct data type. Now if you look at displacement, looking at displacement, we have 3.7, 3.7, 2.3. So you assume that this column should be a float. Now we can see it is a float 64, which is correct. Now CYL, we have 6 CYL, 6 CYL, 4 CYL. But if you look at the F 2018, look at the CYL are 6.0, 6.0, 4.0. So which means our CYL column is supposed to be a float. But because of this open bracket and this close bracket that is inside the 28, we are having it as an object. So which means we have to correct this. So you need to note that as well. So you continue, we have trans, which is objects. And here we have object as well. We have drive, we have this, we have this. So I assume all these ones should be correct. Air pollution score. This is 7.6. So we assume this should be an integer. Let's see, air pollution score is an object. Noted. CTMPG, supposed to be an int. Object. Alright, noted. Combined MPG, 17, 17, 19. Object. HWYMPG, supposed to be an int. Object. Greenhouse gas score. You see that we're having problem with almost all our float data types. So we need to inspect them and correct them. Now let's start with the CYL, which is the first thing. So we need to strip out, we need to remove all this open bracket, close bracket, and all this CYL, and ensure that it is an integer. So we have the 28. Now if you want to call out a column, you use this bracket to filter out a column. I hope you can see it.
Yes, I can see.
Thank you. So use this bracket to filter out the column. So we have CYL. Now this is the column we need, and this is the column we want to clean. Now currently it's an integer. It's a string, sorry. And it's supposed to be either an int or a float. So irrespective, it's still fine. So we make use of dot string dot. If you use dot string, can you see it's a dot string because the string dot coming. Okay. Now let me do it this way. If we want to work with this, we need to extract out only the integers here. Now to do that, it may be very difficult for some people because they don't have knowledge about some particular aspect of strings. Now there's something we call regular expressions. We call it regex. It is called regular expression. Regular expression. Now what we mean by the short is called regex. It is a very simple topic, but at the same time it is a topic that disturbs someone a lot. Now a string, you can perform regular expression on a string. So if you are making use of pandas data frame, you use dot extract, then you go like this. I don't want to teach this regular expression. I have this. Let me do Is it not correct? Should be able to extract out. It's always giving problem when you want to. It should be correct. Okay, I'm using the wrong slash. With this slash instead. Okay. No wonder. Should be this slash instead. Now, when you're working with regular expression, let me just go through the regular expression simply means making use of a kind of what's it called? A few expressions to filter out something that you need. Are you with me? Now, for regular expression, this sign, which means this slash, simply means any. We have it to be mean any. If you have dot, let me say period, means anything. Let me just say anything. It can be a number, it can be a letter, it can be anything. So if you have D means digits, not digits. If you have D, it means non-digits. If you have W means alphanumeric. It means alphanumeric. Then we have big W. It means non-alphanumeric. Then we have S. S simply means white space. We have, which other thing do we have? We have this raised to power. What is it called, sir? Looking for the sign. Where's this sign? This raised to power sign. Should be shift 6 or something. Okay, good. So this is it. It is called start with. Then we have this dollar sign, which is end with. No, this is not dollar sign, which is end with. We have so many of them. We have this. This is group. We have this. We call this range. Which other one do we have? These are the ones I can remember for now. Now, if you want to, if for example, I want to extract out non-digits, we have this as well. Like, remember this. So this means that A comma B. So our A means the what you want to get. For example, you want to extract out the digits. No, this is minimum, the minimum you want to get, and this is maximum. Yes. So if, for example, we have plus, did not include plus. Plus means more than one. So if I should say AD, it means I want to extract out one digit. I should have, this is a thing I need to discuss, because now those data sets are very data in such a way that you may have phone number and address together in one column, and you want to separate them. And the phone numbers can be phone numbers in different formats. Maybe people from US, people from UK. You know, we have different um, phone number formats, and you need to extract out the phone number. You want to separate them from address. So making use of regular expression is a very good approach. That's why I said it's a topic on its own that needs to be discussed. Now, if I should use big D here, it means I mean non-digit. Can you see that the first non-digit here is this open bracket? So, but here I mean any D, any digit plus. So which means the digit may be more than one. It may be 60, it may be 65. So that is this. So I don't want to waste much time here. So I'll just assign it back. Then I have DF 28. So can you see that my CYL is now here. Now, even though it will still be showing in form of your D type. Let's see its data type. DF28. So still an object. So we need to convert it to an integer. So let's just do it to an integer. So we say dfcyl equals to df28 cyl dot as type. So use dot as type to change to a particular as type. So I want to change it to an integer. So then here I want to print the D type to show if it has changed. What's the problem? Cannot convert float NaN to integers. So which means that we have null values in this particular column. So let's just use float instead. So that we are not dealing with null value yet. So can you see that successfully converted into float? But that's another problem on its own which we need to deal with. But let's just consider. Now we are done with this CYL. Now the next problem is we know air pollution score. Let's go back. Air pollution score is an object. So we need to print out, let's see. So for better, if you want to print out the whole column, you can just say there's 28 dot columns. Let me copy it here. Air pollution score. So all right, so let's convert it to, I assume that there is nothing wrong with it actually. Let me convert it to value error. Can you see the name of the error is value error? You must now catch error. This is value error. And what's that for int with base 10 colon 9.5? This is a problem. So we assume there is nothing wrong with maybe because it's a CSV, it imported a wrong data type. But at the end of the day, we notice that it is not not that problem. There is another problem with it, which we do not even know yet. So let's check for others. CTMPG. CTMPG. Even this problem here, I don't know the problem yet, but let me check for others. I think from others, I should be able to get. We can print and inspect it to check if where the problem is. But let's check for another column and see if we can. Let's change this to int as well. As type int. This is also giving value error. What's this one value error? Good. Now this one is even telling us that there is a place where we have 11/14. 11/14. Now having 11/14 here, this has given me more clue. So I can now say df2008 dot query. What's the name of the column? CTMPG. Oh, I can't use this. Let me use this. 28. Is the column name correct? CTMPG equals to 11/14. So it should be equals to 11/14. I made a mistake. Oh. I will have to run this again. I need to run this again. CTMPG. A minute, please. So we have CTMPG equals to 11/14. Okay. So we have false, false, false. Now let's return this in form of a data frame. We have df 28. Good. Let's see. I think the first error is from this one is from which column is that? Air pollution score. Okay. Now look at where the problem is coming from. This air pollution score is having 7/7. It's having 7/7. This is having 11/14, 12/16. All these things, they are strings. They are not literally what is 15/20. No, they are strings. And one thing that I also need to note is that you need to understand the data set. And in fact, even from here, I noticed that the error is coming from the full column. Most likely, for this model itself is supposed to be two columns, two rows, two different rows. The first row will be Chevrolet Avance 15 with these details, but ethanol, but with these same details. Then when it comes here, its air pollution score is 7. its city MPG is 11, its HWY MPG is 15, this is 12, this is 6, and here. So which means this is supposed to be 2 rows for this particular one. And also this one is supposed to be 2 rows as well. This is supposed to be 2 rows as well. But during when they were imputing the data, they assume that since it is the same distance, let us just use slash, but not knowing that it's a problem for a data scientist. So what we need to do is that we have to split this into two. Ethanol separate, gas separate. This one too, ethanol separate, gas separate. Then if we do that for this, we will also do that for the rest as well, which is a very big problem. So how do we achieve this? So even from here, we've been able to know the problem with the rest of the data, the rest of the columns. So even if we try to convert them to integer or try to convert them to float, to definitely return an error. So this is what we are going to do. Okay, let me do something. Now this is the column index. Yeah, these are the indexes or the indices of where the problem index 316, 317, 321. So we can store this somewhere and call it indices because we may likely need it later. So let's do this. We can use different approach depending on how well you can think. So it's not a must use one particular way. That's why when you're writing code, if you call me tomorrow to come and write this code, it's most likely that I'll use another method to write the code. So that is the way it happens. Now after this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to split this DF2008 into two different data sets. The first data set will be for ethanol, and the second data set will be for gas. I'm going to split them into two. So I'm going to call it DF2008. I don't like long names, but let me just use this. Ethanol equals to DF2008, this like this. So we just need to call out where the error is, dot copy. So use dot copy to create an independent copy. So this is for ethanol and this is for gas. So we have two different copies. We have ethanol and gas. So we have DF2008 ethanol. This is it here. So can you see? So we'll be splitting this into ethanol. Now the next thing is to get the column we want to deal with. Did you get that? So we are going to say dot columns. So let's look at the columns together. So we have wheel, air, let me name it, equals to, let me just copy everything. Then we'll delete the one we don't need. So I'll put it in a list. We have fuel, air pollution score, city, all the whole MPG, aside from this, and fuel with score. So we have fuel, air pollution score. I don't think this FE is there. FE is now among. Then this unadj combined mpg, unadjusted combined mpg is now among as well. So it's not affected. Let's remove it. Then green gas score. I think that's all. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. So let me just call it goals. Now, what do we do? This is the simple way to do it. Let me show you. We can let me do it for one. If I say dfuel dot apply, I can make use of the lambda function. I already taught you what lambda function is. So x dot split. So I will split by what is separating them, which is this slash. So if I should split by slash, it's going to return something like, sorry, this is df. Let's use this for df 2008 ethanol because that is what we are dealing with. So we have this. If I should split by this, can you see ethanol gas, ethanol gas? So if I should say 0, this is returning error, key error. If I should say 0, it will print out only the ethanol for me. Can you see? But if I should say 1, if I should say 1, it will print out the gas aspect for me. So as simple as that. So what we just do is to say, we'll loop into these columns one after the other. So we say for I in co, okay, scores. For I in co's, so I'll copy this, paste it here, copy it again. Now 0 is for ethanol and 1 is for gas. So I will name this gas. Now since I want to perform a loop, this will be I here. This will be I. This will also be I. So we have this. So I'm going to assign it back to itself. So this is this. So I'll do for the both of them at the same time, making use of the same loop. So this will be 0 and this is the 1. So this will do for the both of them. The F1 ethanol, the F1 gas. So we should run this and it should print ethanol. Can you see this has been cleaned for ethanol? Can you see? And if we do for gas as well, this has been cleaned for gas as well. Now what we need to do next is to concatenate them together. So which means we need to turn them into one df. So I will say df clean equals to pd.concat. So I'll use this and this. So I will combine them by axis equals to 0, then ignore index equals to true. So we have this, we have the f clean. So good. So we now have them. The size shape of the data is now 59, 39. So which means we've joined both gas and ethanol together. And don't forget that our main data set is TF2008, if I'm not mistaken. So we need to drop these indices that I put here, these indices that we have here for DF2008. Where is it? We need to drop this column, these rows, so that we can append the new rows. So I'm going to have DF2008 dot drop indices. So it's automatically, so it will reduce to 2384. So now I can now, if I use in place, which means it will make the, to effect the correction. So I was saying place equals to true. So if I have the F28, I have this. Now the next thing is to now join my clean data set with the F28. So I can now say the F28 equals to pd.concat df2008, comma df clean. So I'll also join them by row. So df2008, we have this. So now we can now convert all of them to integer. Okay. Can now convert them to integer. We have this. Now to convert them to integer, since we already have them in quotes, I can now say for, say quotes is this. So I'm going to remove fuel because we don't need fuel, because you can't convert fuel to. So I can just say col equals to. So I'll start from 1 up to the end. So I will have col is this, starting from a pollution score. Like this. And I'll say for I in col df2008 I equals to df2008 I dot hashtag int. What are we having? I think there is still error with one of our columns. So we'll stop here for today. We'll proceed in our next class because our time is fast spent already. So if you have any question, please kindly unmute yourself and ask your question. Any question? So just like I said our assignment is that we are to replicate what I did for DF2008 for 2018 dataset. So any question?
I think there is no question. All right, thank you very much, sir, for today's session. It's been a very, very long time, and I hope all our participants enjoyed today's session. So, implore you all to make sure you practice what you've been taught right from day one till this very moment. And the assessment for this week is going to be sent to us just like last week's was sent to us. So, in the absence of question, observation, comments. So we are going. This is where we are going to stop for today. All right. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining today's session.
I think someone is
Really
raising up
appreciate.
again.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask about the grading. How do we know whether our assignment has been graded?
About what is that, sir?
The grading of the assignment, is it going to be graded probably after the program, or it's going to be graded on weekly basis?
It's going to be graded on weekly basis, please. Yeah. The last week assignment, the grading for the last week is going to be sent to us, so it's going to be on a weekly basis. Yeah,
Okay, thank you very much.
you're welcome. All right, so thank you very much once again, everyone, and do have a lovely evening.